is he's finished 11th season, entering his 12th season in the National Football League, four-time Pro Bowler, and he is the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, known as America's team in certain parts of this world. And he is Tony Romo here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Tony?
I'm doing good. Appreciate you having me.
Oh, of course. Thanks for taking the time. Where have I found you? You behind the wheel?
I actually am. We're literally just leaving the complex. We had a nice day. OTAs are actually minicamp now, so it's been good.
Okay. Yeah, I can't keep track of what to call it anymore, Tony. You never know what it is, you know?
They're pretty similar. OTAs and minicamp for us, they're pretty much the same thing. Minicamp, though, we have like extra meeting time in the afternoon.
Oh.
The only difference.
And what does that mean? What do you learn? Like, what is a meeting time in the middle of June? How does that translate into a W come the season, do you think, Tony?
Well, I think what you find is over time, you know, the more times you're able to put yourself in the mindset of what your position or what the subtleness of your playing position is, the more times you can see it and feel it, the more likely you are to play faster when it comes September. And I just think that these practices mentally, guys can really sharpen and play at a much faster tempo in their brain by the time they come out for training camp and the games. And
what about you? What are you trying to get accomplished here in late June before you hit a no doubt well-deserved break before the long slog of the training camp and regular season?
Well, there's a few things. I think, you know, for us, a lot of it is just you have new players in your team. You have guys who have gotten older. Some guys are younger. Some guys are – you got to figure out what your team is going to look like with some of the personnel. And then on top of it, you want to throw in some of the new wrinkles that you've spent a lot of time studying and coming up with a plan, you know, for whether it's the way the teams have played you in the past, individually or collectively as different teams have, and figure out new ways to attack the stuff that's being developed in the league. And I think you throw those things out there, and if you got 8 to 10 new things, you might end up keeping 4 going into the season or 5. And I think, you know, most all the plays have been invented in the history of the NFL, but the time that you run them and then subtly this guy's route changes from this to this, even though everyone else is the same, and little things like that can give major difference when you are playing big games, you know, as the season moves on, and your adjustment ability to new personnel and new schemes that you're seeing.
Tony Romo joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show, and then it's adjusting as to who's not there anymore. And we all know DeMarco Murray is in Philadelphia right now. Was there a point where you thought it might be possible for DeMarco to stay, that it looked like that was the way it was going to break for you?
Yeah, for a long time, I think we thought there was a good chance he could stay. And obviously, you know, running backs usually don't get multiple long-term contracts just because of the position, the nature of how that plays out. But, you know, DeMarco was in a unique situation that he had his best season right during free agency. And so it allows you to kind of, you know, almost test the waters and see what you're able to do. And he had such a great season, and he's a great player. And I think that it just made it a situation where the team had a lot of needs, and DeMarco had obviously his own personal needs, which he has that right. And obviously I was disappointed that we weren't able to keep him.
And Jerry Jones, the boss, says the running game is going to be better this year. Would you agree with that assessment, Tony?
Well, we'll see. You know, I think more than anything, you're just trying to find out, you know, there's a lot of competition right now, at the running back position, and as well on our entire football team. And you know, the NFL does not carry over from one year to the next near as much as other sports. There's a lot of turnover, not only just from a personnel department, but just people getting better and improving and having the right to earn some playing time. And then, you know, other guys, you know, obviously like DeMarco and stuff, end up moving on. And I think it just makes it where you've got to go learn the intricate details of each guy and figure out what they're good at and put them in a position to succeed. And, you know, once you figure that out, then you can start to see what kind of team you're going to be. But we're just starting that process right now.
When was the last time you spoke to Dez Bryant, Tony?
Yesterday. I had dinner with him yesterday.
Okay. And how's everything going with that?
It's going good. You know, I think obviously he would like to sign a long-term contract, and I think the team would obviously like that as well. It's just a matter of both. Like any contract that happens in the National Football League, it's just part of, the way that it happens. You just both sides have certain things that they want, and they try and fight for it, and then they end up finishing somewhere.
Yeah, it's so tough because it's another man's business, right, Tony? And it's not just another man's business as well. It's the man's business in Jerry Jones as well. And here you are, the quarterback of this team. I'm sure I'm not the only part of the paparazzi that's asking you about it too, Tony. Do you feel like you're put in a tough position in this regard?
Am I put in a tough position?
Yeah, that you have to answer for this sort of thing. It's got,
Well, if this is the hardest question I have to answer in this interview, I'll be all right. So
well, then let's talk about Las Vegas.
Good job.
What do you think? You see how I worked that in there? Yeah.
Subtle job. I like it. Yeah, it's been good.
What did happen with that, Tony? Do you want to get into that?
Yeah, I think mostly, I'd said everything last week. It's just, something that you set up and just you just try and figure it out along the way. And the NFL obviously has their stance and their points and the stuff they make. And, we had ours, and just stuff happens sometimes. You got to deal with it and you move on. And, I've said all this stuff before. People can go read about it.
Okay. And is this something that you're going to continue to do? Are you going to continue to hold this fantasy events other times? Are you still sticking with it?
Oh yeah, we'll do it next year, and we'll just switch it up and go to Los Angeles in 2016. And I think we're going to have over 100 people there this year, player-wise.
Right.
And we're in the NFL and some pretty big names. I think it was going to be pretty exciting. And the guys were excited to hang out with each other, and each guy gets on their Twitter and gets all their fans there, and they get, it's going to be just something where you're able to kind of hang out with your favorite player, which I've always thought was a little bit like, it's just hard to get near your favorite player in the NFL or NBA or wherever. It's just, you don't know where they're going to be, and then the access is never what I feel like a fan. I just knew growing up, it was just, you never had that opportunity. And so, I wanted to make something where you could really go and just kind of hang out and talk and listen to them and literally be 3 yards away, and just be able to get out there and, hey, you get over here. Now, watch how Jason Witten puts his hands on this wide option route and runs it. Things like that. They're just pretty unique experiences. So we'll be able to do that next year. It'll be fun.
Do you want to use my studio? Can I give you my studio for that here in Los Angeles, Tony?
I could, but I feel like you'd want to go out there and run routes. I saw you run the 40-yard dash one time, and that didn't look very well.
Well, as you know, Tony, I only know one speed. But I'm here. I can put the Baccarat tables away, and we could just, use the studios. You know what I mean? And it'll be fine.
Well, you're showing off your age now. Baccarat, huh? Pretty impressive.
Well, I watch a lot of James Bond movies. I watch, the old.
That's pretty good.
I have Tony.
There you go.
I have Tony Romo, the Dallas Cowboys quarterback, joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. All week long, Tony, we've been talking about Father's Day, fatherhood, and I'm wondering how. I asked you this question last year. You gave a very heartfelt answer, and I'm wondering if now that you've got another one too, how has fatherhood changed you, Tony?
Well, can you tell me what I said last year so I can just add on to that?
Yeah, you were talking about how how it really has changed you even on the field as a professional, Tony.
Yeah, honestly, until you become a dad, ultimately, you just don't quite understand your just normal selfishness as a human being in some ways. And, I understand we're all sinners and we all fight that, but when you get married, it kind of exposes your sin and your selfishness. And when you're a dad, it's the same thing. And I think, you just never knew you could love something so much that didn't really, your responsibility for that person is just, it's almost overwhelming. And sometimes that you don't get anything back other than just a hug, a look, or these things. And they'll last 6 hours, and it's just, you don't get that in anything else in life. And I think that you're willing to really sacrifice time. You're willing to sacrifice a lot of things for small amounts of joy that are actually very deep and meaningful. And I think, in life, it just allows you to kind of mature and grow up and it's a great joy. It really is. That I wish, that everybody is able to have. And until you have a kid, you just really won't know what you're talking about, because we all just kind of do what we do, and we're a little selfish with our time. But when you have it, you start to recognize that there's bigger things than yourself in this life. And I think children do have a great way of showing you that. At the same time, they have a great way of crying sometimes and make you want to go over there and tell them a few words about how to, it's time to pick up after themselves.
Yeah, I know, man. They don't listen, Tony. They don't listen. They hear, but they don't listen. I mean, let's be honest.
I didn't teach. That's the crazy part. I didn't teach him that either. He just does it.
It's innate.
There's something inside of him that says, I would like to hit my brother. And he just goes and hits his brother. And I say, and no one taught you that, Hawkins. And, he seems to think I did, but he kind of just has it in there.
I know. That's what boys do, Hawkins and Rivers, Romo. Do you sometimes find yourself sounding like your own dad with your kids? Does that happen to you, Tony?
Oh, no question. They'll be doing something. I'll be like, all right, stop it. All right. And then I'll be like, you get the real quick, snap real fast where you're just like, that's it. One more time, that's it, and then you're going to timeout, or you get the real stern voice,
yeah,
aggressive, and he'll and he tests me. He'll look at me to be like, is that a serious one, or is that kind of a fake one? And then I almost want to smile because he starts getting all cute with it, and I'm like, I can't, because then he's going to be able to run all over me. So got to stay tough.
See, it doesn't matter how many Pro Bowls you have in those situations, and it just grounds you, Tony. You know what I mean? Like, you might think about the crucible of being the face of America's team at that position, the quarterback, and then you go home. And then it's a totally different ball of wax.
There's no question about that. If you want to be humble, just walk in your house real quick, and your kids will tell you, poopy diaper, and then he'll actually tell me that, and I'll be like, that's great. Yeah, I know you're potty trained. You don't need one.
Nice. How fast are you as a diaper changer, Tony? How quickly can you do it?
Oh, it only takes me about a half hour. I'm pretty quick.
Oh, gosh. Oh, my gosh. You need to improve that speed, Tony. You need to improve that speed a little bit here. So,
yeah, that's a tough one.
So, what do you do between now and training camp? Last question for you, Tony.
Well, I'm going to head up to Wisconsin after the mini camps are done, and I'm going to have my football camp up there and kind of switch it up a little bit this year. It's going to be pretty unique. We're going to have a 7-on-7 tournament, a little bit Wisconsin versus Illinois. I went to college at Eastern Illinois, and I'm from Wisconsin, so I'm going to bring teams up from Illinois at my high school in Wisconsin and have them compete for a championship and some cool things. So it'll be fun, coach up a team and get out there and teach a lot of the techniques to some of the young guys, and then bring the family up there, and we'll be up there for a week, and then I'll be back in Dallas pretty much the rest of the time and just end up working out and doing the normal stuff to get ready for camp.
You're not holding that camp at Potawatomi outside of Milwaukee, are you, Tony? You're not going to do that, right? Just want to make sure.
No. We're going to stay away from that this year. It doesn't look good.
It's all vetted. It's all good. You're going to have the event. It's good, right? We're in?
I hope so. We'll see.
I'm here to help you, Tony. You know that, right? When it's all said and done.
Oh, I know. You got my back, Rich.
I do. I'm offering you my studio. That's like the biggest thing I could possibly do for your event.
That is impressive. I was as nice as a 6x6 foot area as I'm going to find my own show.
Hey, Tony, thanks for calling in. I appreciate it. I hope to check in with you down the line. And if not, I'll see you in Oxnard.
You got it. Thanks, Rich. Appreciate you. Good luck.
You bet. Same to you. Happy Father's Day. That's Tony Romo, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys, right here on The Rich Eisen Show.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.